Hello, wonderful viewers, and welcome to yet another interesting episode of the newspaper review here on TAF TV. My name is Cyril Aloysius, and you're very much welcome to join me once again to look at the papers for today. Mr. Victor Sioku is going to be doing the papers with me today as usual. Mr. Victor, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, and the papers we are going to be starting with is the Daily Sun. Headlines in Daily Sun here we have on page 6. This one says, Atiku, Tinubu continue personal attacks. Atiku and Tinubu continue personal attacks. Nigeria won't elect another ghost president. That's according to PDP candidate. And we will retire him to Dubai. This is Oshomole saying. You can get all details of this headline on page 6 of Daily Sun. On page 2 and 4, we have FX challenge worsens as dollar scarcity hits banks. FX challenge worsens as dollar scarcity hits banks. Okay, that's on page 2 and page 4 of Daily Sun. And on page 8, we have INEC to spend 355 billion naira on 2023 elections. INEC to spend 355 billion naira on 2023 elections. That's on page 8 of the Daily Sun. On page 3, we have food security. Naseni, N-A-S-E-N-I, Naseni to complete local machine design institute in Imo. Naseni to complete local machine design institute in Imo. That's on page 3. And on page 8, we have federal government should release Kano now as respect for Mbazulike. Okay, that's on page 8. On page 30, we have Ikure Madu's camp joins forces with Mba Enugu PDP Gerber candidate. Okay, that's on page 30. On page 7, we have ministers, officials undermining corruption fight, according to reps. Ministers, officials undermining corruption fight, according to reps. That's on page 7. And lastly, on page 7 as well, we have Rivers releases 78 billion naira for completion of projects, award new ones. 1.8 billion naira for judiciary appoints 7,000 justices of peace. Okay, that's on page 7 of the Daily Sun. Okay, that's the much we can take on the Daily Sun for today. Mr. Victor, which of these headlines would you like to react to?
Okay, let's do about the ministers
And officials undermining the corruption fight.
spilling fire on the Buhari's ministers and officials. Okay, so just about yesterday, the House of Representatives, through their committee about finance and budgets, they came out to say yesterday that the Buhari's government, through its ministers and officials, are undermining the efforts of to fight corruption. Okay, why are they saying that? Because they are reviewing the budget, which was being forwarded by the president to the House to review. Okay, and it turned out that the Auditor General's office, that their total proposed budget was slashed. In fact, it was slashed by 50%. Okay, from 11 billion to about 5 point something billion. Okay, and the House itself are very furious about it. They're even saying that why would the government be spending so much on younger bodies, okay, like the EFCC and the ICPC, but when it comes to the Auditor General, that is understaffed. They mentioned that the Auditor General is understaffed and that they lack a whole lot of abilities to work. And we should note that they are in the 36 states of the Federation. Okay. But my issue, before I get to my issue, we should also note that the capital budget, the capital expenditure of the Auditor General went from 2 billion to just about 62 million naira. And that has created so much issues. But I now ask, this same Auditor General's office, have we forgotten that just recently in Yobe State, the Auditor General of Yobe State was found wanting? My brother, he stole a whole lot of monies, and currently is still under. Well, I don't like talking about matters that are in court. But in his own case, it is almost done and dusted
Okay.
with the case. Okay. So what am I saying? I think it's not just about budgeting these monies. How are we going to monitor these monies and monitor that the monies
And
that
ensure
they
that
sent,
the monies are being used for the purpose for which they are meant for.
Yes, my brother, especially now that Nigeria needs every kobo. We are having so much economic crisis in this country. And also, yes, we are talking about Auditor General right now. What about the Accountant General? The Accountant General that stole about 150 billion naira. In his own case, he has accepted that he stole the money. He was taken to jail, released just a matter of time because he accepted that yes, he stole this money.
He
And
pleaded guilty.
Yes, he had a plea bargain and that he was returning some. Okay, but now you now ask the question: is it the same? Yeah, we are talking about Auditor General. Auditor General. Right now, I just mentioned about the Accountant General. So this is not. I think the House of Representatives they are having it all wrong right now. Okay, because that they reduced the amount for the Auditor General to work with. Okay, we should be about, it's not just about presenting budget and budget. We should be about that every kobo that has been spent. So you now ask me, how was the auditor, the Accountant General, how was he able to steal as big as 150 billion naira?
Wow.
In as much as that, if you go back to the details, you will find out that he did not, his office, maybe over 3 years, did not even get up to that amount. Then you now be asking, how do these people how do they do these things? How do they do this magic that you'll be able to even steal more than the budget of your constituent,
Wow.
the budget of your office? Are you getting me? So they should not just be tackling EFCC and
So
IPC.
they have accomplices. They don't do these things alone. They have accomplices. So I would really appreciate it if the EFCC could actually look for a way to get those persons who help them out in.
That is the problem, my brother. That is the problem, because it's like I said, it's not just about releasing budgets, okay, and they release the funds to you.
Yes.
We know that many of these politicians, they still, just like I mentioned the other day, you give a project to a particular parastatal, and what they are just doing there, just like I mentioned about the medical, the presidential medical wing.
Yes.
That what they just do there is just to be building structure. Because they feel that, because I also feel that they use these structures to siphon money.
Siphon money, yes.
Are you getting that? So, down to the details, my brother. They should not just be crying blue mother because these budgets were cut. And they should also know that Nigeria is bleeding economically. So all those monies that they were collecting back in the days shouldn't be as business as usual. Okay. Yes, they also will relate it that inflation is causing everything to go high. Who caused the inflation?
Even if Nigeria is not bleeding, is that still an excuse for you to siphon money? Even if the country is in a good state, is it proper that you should siphon money? Come on. Where is our integrity in this country? Where is our integrity, Mr. Victor? Okay, let's move straight now to this day newspaper. Thanks so much for your thoughts on that particular paper. On this day, we have further interesting headlines. This one says, Atiku. Shetima's statement denigrates business that employs thousands of workers. Shetima's statement denigrates business that employs thousands of workers. Okay, that's Atiku saying. And another interesting headline here says, it's payback time. Shetima tells Hausa community in Lagos. It's payback time. Shetima tells Hausa community in Lagos. PDP drags APC to court over alleged unlawful convention. PDP drags APC to court over alleged unlawful convention. That's on page 43 on this day newspaper. And on page 10 of this day, we have Oshomole. Fuel subsidy has been huge source of fraud for long. Oshomole is saying on page 10, fuel subsidy has been huge source of fraud for long. That's on page 10 on this day. And lastly, on this day newspaper, we have Emefiele. Weak infrastructure, low income, others hampering digital financial integration. That's according to Emefiele. He says weak infrastructure, low income, others hampering digital financial integration. That's Emefiele saying, okay, there on This Day newspaper. That's the much we can take in This Day newspaper. You want some of the headlines, more details on the headlines you heard, get a copy of This Day newspaper for yourself. Mr. Victor, please. Which of these headlines really interest you?
So let's do the Atiku and Shettima crisis.
Okay.
I call it a crisis. Okay. Yeah, so what's happening? Shettima went out publicly to call Atiku Wole Wole. I'm not a Yoruba man, but Wole Wole that I know is calling... it's a name given to these inspection persons on the road, health inspection people, sanitation inspection people. Okay. So calling him Wole Wole because Atiku went to get a certification with respect to health. A health certification. Okay. So he was like, "Come on, this is no certification. This is rubbish. How can you be going to get a certification for input as a sanitation officer?" Okay, that's one punch. Second punch, that Atiku is employing people just because of the bottled water that he sells. Okay. Meaning that he calling himself an economic mogul or business mogul, that is just about bottled water. What is he talking about? Mind you, we TAF TV released a report about the Onne seaport and about allegedly the news that Atiku sold his shares of what do you call it again? Shares of Intels to Tinubu. Okay. I think right now, why he did not even mention Atiku being a logistics mogul, but calling him a bottled water businessman. Okay. Well,
so that's like an insult to Atiku.
That's an insult. But yes, it's not what we should be discussing right now in Nigeria, because we have tougher things to discuss. Yes. Okay. We should be talking about their manifestos. We should be talking about how will they be able to achieve that what they say they want to achieve. Okay. So we already know they've come out to say they will provide 774,000 jobs for Nigerians. They will give soft loans. They will do this.
We've heard these promises before, Mr. Victor.
Like we've heard that promises. One naira will be equal to $1. Right now, $1 is equal to over 800 and about 30 naira.
Wow.
Okay. So we should be talking about the facts. Okay. But yes, PDP in their own style has responded through the office of their spokesperson, the campaign spokesperson. Okay, that is Senator Dino Melaye. So Senator Dino Melaye came out to say that Shettima, that is opening his mouth to say all these things, that he is a financier of Boko Haram. And that was too hard.
Does he have proof for that?
Well,
does he have proof for that statement?
Well, I do not know for him, but he went all out.
Such statement could be incriminating,
So he went all out. In fact, he even made the point that, see, if the plans of Shettima is to get to Aso Rock and open an office for Boko Haram.
Wow.
That's heard. So
that's a strong statement.
That is the politics.
For him to come out boldly and say such, then it means that maybe, like they say, there's no smoke without fire.
That's to tell you, well, I do not want to say it. What am I trying to say is...
Because you can't just come out and start blabbing.
So our leaders should not be making this kind of utterances. You are a leader, for crying out loud.
Especially at this particular time.
Yes, you cannot be making this kind of utterances, my brother. So it's totally uncalled for at this moment. They should focus on the facts.
It's immature.
Yes, they should focus on the facts and forget about lashing each other with unnecessary sentimental lines.
Yes, exactly.
Totally unnecessary.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor. Just before we move straight to our next and last paper for the day, we'll go on a quick break. And when we return, more headlines coming your way. Do stay tuned.
Now that you have registered for your PVC, it doesn't stop there. Ensure you pick up your PVC. Be alert. Join many Nigerians to vote credible leaders that will change the tide of this nation. Do not sell your vote. Remember, this is our future. Your vote is your voice.
This message is proudly brought to you by TAV Media Limited. Okay, still on the newspaper review here on TAV TV. You're very much welcome back from that short break. And I'm taking you straight to our last paper for the day. We shall be looking at the Vanguard. Headline to the Vanguard here says, we have here on page 5, this one says, Buhari's ministers, others, stalling anti-graft war. Buhari's ministers, others, stalling anti-graft war. That's according to Reps on page 5 of the Vanguard. And on page 7 of the Vanguard, we have no U-turn on BVAs. No U-turn on BVAS. I beg your pardon. Buhari's position stands. That's according to Presidency on page 7. No U-turn on BVAS. Buhari's position stands. According to Presidency on page 7 of the Vanguard. On page 8 of the Vanguard, we have federal government incurs 956 billion naira outstanding liabilities on road housing projects. According to Fashola on page 8. Fashola is saying on page 8, FG, federal government incurs 956 billion naira outstanding liabilities on road housing projects. That's on page 8 of the Vanguard. On page 8 as well, we have flood. Nigerians must not experience food shortage. Buhari orders Agric Minister. Nigerians must not experience food shortage. Buhari orders Agric Minister. That's on page 8. Okay, on page 8 again, we have, still on page 8, we have 2023. Court okays suit seeking to void nomination of all APC candidates. Okay, court okays suit seeking to void nomination of all APC candidates on page 8 of the Vanguard. On page 6, we have man, 3 others arrested for demanding 20 million naira ransom after killing minor in Kano. Wow. That's a sad news there on page 6 of the Vanguard. Man and 3 others arrested for demanding 20 million naira ransom after killing a minor in Kano. On page 7, we have E-Naira records 700,000 transactions valued at 8 billion naira, according to Emefiele. On page 7, E-Naira records 700,000 transactions valued at 8 billion naira. That's Emefiele saying on page 7 of the Vanguard. On page 13, we have 2023. Don't collude with politicians to set Nigeria ablaze. CAN president tells clerics. He says, don't collude with politicians to set Nigeria ablaze. CAN president tells clerics on page 13 of the Vanguard. On page 9, we have Rivers releases 78 billion naira for completion of projects, award of new ones. Okay. And lastly, on page 35, we have retiring Atiku to Dubai. Retiring Atiku to Dubai. Oshomole, Momodu disagree over Shetima's comments. Okay, that's on page 35 of the Vanguard. That's the much we can take in the Vanguard for today. You want more details as usual, you know what to do. Get a copy of the Vanguard for yourself. Mr. Victor, which of these headlines would you like to talk to, react to? I beg your pardon.
Okay, in a quick way, I want to touch all the major political parties. Okay, from the PDP, let's start with the PDP. You've already mentioned about Wike. Okay, Wike has taken some time out as of yesterday. It took some time out not to lash on the PDP, the national the national body of the PDP. Okay, so it took some time out to cater for his people yesterday and do his due diligence with respect to his people. Okay, so what happened yesterday? They were able to release the sum of 78 billion naira for projects, ongoing projects and new projects, and I think it's a good one. Okay, because you asked. Those projects that he's embarking on, for me, they are important ones. Okay, like the LMA community roads. Okay, mind you, due to the issues we are having from LMA to One. Okay, mind you, if not for these supporting roads by the corners, okay, one will not be transversing through that road.
But why now, Mr. Victor? Why now? Why must it be at the dying stages of his reign as a governor of the state that he wants to really achieve all these projects? Why? Why must it be now?
No, if you ask him, he will tell you that for the past 4 years he's been building flyovers. He will tell you that. Okay, and mind you, the cancer. I'm not a spokesperson. Neither am I a publicity secretary to him. Okay, but the cancer hospital, that's the Peter Delay Cancer Hospital, has been completed. Okay, but some question now, persons are asking the question, what will happen tomorrow? What if he starts having issue with Peter Dele? Will he now remove the name Peter Dele
Okay.
from the name of the hospital?
I guess you have to wait until then to find out.
So that's the big question there. But yeah, kudos to him. Like the new road that they've awarded, the road from Eneka roundabout down to Iwechi, that road has been awarded. Chokocho the next phase of the Chokocho road has also been awarded.
Okay.
What about the Elele road too? Some schools, many schools will be getting a facelift. And lastly, about Ogugbolo community will be getting a sand reclamation. So it's a nice laudable project, okay. And they were able to also get the final payment for the 11th and the 12th flyovers. But now, here are my issues. Sorry, this is just
It's okay,
I'm talking about. But unfortunately for this government, they are not able to help with respect to jobs. Yes, one might say the road construction and all that they will use indirect labor to help the
Provide
people of Rivers State. But what about industries? You find out that Wike did not really do much. One might say he concentrated on infrastructure. Guy, this is not just they know they chop infrastructure for map. People need to go and
What about the stomach infrastructure?
Yes. What about agriculture?
What about stomach infrastructure?
Yes. What about agriculture? In education, one might say that he has tried.
People need to, get stomach infrastructure settled before they can concentrate on other infrastructures.
So, well, for the stomach infrastructure, I think he also tried by appointing 7,000 new justice of peace. How do you call it? JPs, okay? New justice of peace ambassadors, 7,000 of them. I don't know how they'll be paying those 7,000 people their salaries, okay? But no, not salaries, allowances. But let's see how it goes. Well, let's keep that aside. Now to the APC. Well, since Tinubu attended the event at Akure, where you had the Afeni Ferres, okay? Fashoranti, who there's not an issue with the Afeni Ferres, because Fashoranti was the one that he went to see in Akure. But Fashoranti stays in Akure. And he was a leader of the Afeni Ferres, but I'm coming to that. But right now, there's a big issue because Pa Adebanjo, who is from Ijebu-Ode, is now screaming the house because Fashoranti has come out to say that he is Afeni Ferre leader. Are you getting my point now? Now, the issue now is who is now the Afeni Ferre leader? But beforehand, there was strong report to show that Fashoranti stepped aside due to health grounds and age, because he's over 90.
Wow.
To step down, to leave it for Pa Adebanjo to continue.
Okay.
But what is happening right now is that the next meeting that will be held for the Afeni Ferres will now be held in Akure. But mind you, by their constitution, they stated that the leader of the consultative forum will have all meetings in his domain. So any convention or monthly meeting by the Afeni Ferres usually happens in Ijebu-Ode. But now, after Tinubu had visited the Fashoranti in Akure, they are now saying that the whole meetings will not be held in Akure. So you find out that there is a very strong division. Reason because Pa Adebanjo is supporting a person of P2B, while Fashoranti is supporting his own Yoruba person, Tinubu. So the issues, I don't know how they will resolve this, but it's looking very slim that there will be
tribalism ever be put aside?
Implosion that will happen with the Afeni Ferres. You're asking about tribalism.
Yes.
Well, it's part of the system. Nigeria has
something we can't run away from.
Yes, Nigeria has eaten deep in respect to tribalism. Then lastly, to the Labour Party, it's a bad news for the Labour Party. Reason because their deputy chairman, the Oyo State deputy chairman of the Labour Party, has resigned his position. And he has defected, my brother, to the PDP.
Wow.
Yes, so it
Wow.
has happened. A whole deputy chairman
Wow.
has left the party to the
That's
PDP.
a huge loss for Labour
So
Party.
yes, they've lost it. So why the PDP has gained
Okay.
it. So it's very unfortunate. But you also wonder why would such thing be happening at a time like this?
Yes.
There is very strong news that the Labour Party are really challenged with financials. It's only the strong that can survive it right now.
Okay.
So it could also be that the weak. Oh, come on. I'm not calling the deputy chairman weak. But yes, the weak persons are leaving the party because of money.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
It's just
It's obvious.
politics
It's obvious.
for you. If you don't have money, man, you can't play politics in this country.
Yes, it is. Yes, that's the truth. That's the truth. But Mr. Victor, just before we call it a day, please, I'd like you to react to the news we have here on page 6, where a man and 3 others are arrested for demanding 20 million naira ransom after killing a minor in Kano.
So sad.
That's a sad one.
My
Very
brother,
sad
don't
one.
remind me of bad news. Since this week, it's been about bad news and
I
bad
s-
news. It's so shameful.
It's a
Okay?
sad one. It's a
Very,
really
very
sad one.
Very sad one. The news we hear every day, even in River State.
Must you kill? Must you kill? What's there? Just take the money and go.
I wonder, okay, oh, come on. A client of mine just recently was also attacked by kidnappers in this town. So it's been a very challenging week.
And all
Respect
this
to
and
pets.
all this happening
and
now,
kidnappers.
really should I say, tells the incoming government that a whole lot of work needs to be done on the
100%.
area of security. Because
100%.
first of all, before you think of leaving your house, Nigerians need to feel secured. The citizens needs to feel that the government have what it takes to keep them secured.
And how do you improve on your security? Aside bringing the culprits to book, if you have a thriving economy, it goes a long way
Yes.
in curbing criminality.
Because the criminals are then wouldn't even have the time to want to go into crime because they know, okay, there are more better ways to make money than going to endanger our lives all in the name of trying to make money.
Sure.
It's a really sad one, and our heart goes out to the families of the minor, the deceased. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Victor, for your time with me on the program for today. I really do appreciate you stopping once again. And I want to say thank you too to you, our wonderful viewers who have been faithful to your screen up to this very time. Without you, you would not be here. Without you, I, Mr. Victor, would not be here. Without you, this program wouldn't be a success. I say thank you so much. And please, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, do well to subscribe and turn on the notification bells after you do so that you could get notified whenever we come online and whenever we drop our new videos. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms. Check us out on YouTube. We're at TAF TV on YouTube, and Instagram, we're at TAF TV_NG. On Facebook, we're at TAF TV, and on Twitter, we're at TAF TV. My name is Cyril Aloysius once again, and until I come your way again next time, do enjoy the rest of your day. It's bye for now.